Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're taking another look at the twin flame dynamic. We're specifically looking at the stages of the different stages in the twin flame connection, in the twin flame awakening. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm Elif and I welcome you to evolve with me. So in our previous talks, I've done 2 episodes based on the twin flame awakening, and I've said this before and I will say it again, it's not a twin flame connection. We just use that term for lack of a better word, but it's not a connection between you and something outside of yourself. It just is. Because you are one soul. One soul who has incarnated into 2 separate bodies that has 2 separate minds. But you are not separate from that person. And so the meeting, the activation of your twin flame awakening is in essence a 3D meeting with yourself. In the previous 2 episodes, and you can go and have a look at that, it is on my channel, we look at the laws of our reality, energy, vibration, and how it contributes to the push and pull, the runner-chaser dynamic in the twin flame connection. And I go into deeper explanation of why that happens and how it impacts your experience with your twin flame, with your counterpart, and how you pulling creates a pushing effect and therefore pushes them away from you as opposed to welcoming them or attracting the energy towards you. I go into deeper detail with regards to that, so you can go and check that out. I might, if I remember, I'll add the link. But it's on my channel, so you can just browse through my videos and then you'll find it there. In episode 2, we go deeper into what a paradigm is, your conscious and subconscious mind, and how your subconscious creates your paradigm and what it is and why it has such an impact on your reality, and how your twin flame awakening helps you to shift your paradigm, why it can feel quite uncomfortable, why it can be painful, why it can be difficult to experience, is because you are experiencing the death of your ego self, and it's not an easy thing to do. So the twin flame activation and awakening is often the only path, or the best path, the path that your soul has chosen for you to give space to deeper, greater levels of consciousness, to give more space to your soul as opposed to your ego self. Now today in this talk, in this episode, this will be episode 3, I want to talk to you about the different twin flame stages in your awakening. So the different stages in your twin flame awakening. From the moment that you initially meet this person, there is a recognition, and that is the first stage. Recognition and activation. The recognition that this person, that something is different. This is something big. This is something powerful. Something is happening here between myself and this person that I've never experienced before, but that I know is special. This person, there's the recognition that I've always known this person, that they're a sacred part of me, that they're a big part of me, that they're an important part of my soul's journey here, even though I don't yet know what that is, what that means. So there's that recognition this person, you also, in that stage, in the first stage, you also recognize that you see a lot of yourself in this person and you like it. You feel a sense of being seen, often for the very first time in your existence, and most definitely in a more profound way than you ever have before. You recognize the soul, that pulling, that magnetic pull towards this person, and that they are drawn to you. There is an instant recognition of telepathic communication between the two of you. And it's as if you've known them all of their lives, but even long before that. There is a deep sense of knowing, of recognizing this person and who they are on a soul level. And instantly, there is a recognition of love, unlike anything you've ever experienced. That initial recognition, stage 1, is also known as activation. Suddenly, you feel like you're meeting a part of yourself through this person that you've never met before, that you might have known is there, that you might have suspected exists deep within you, but suddenly you're able to meet yourself through this person. And this is why the twin flame is known as the perfect mirror, perfect reflection to self. What we don't yet know in the first stage is that this person is coming into our experience, yes, to highlight everything that we love about ourselves, everything that we appreciate about ourselves and our experience, and to shine a light on what we really want more of in the world. What we don't realize is that that mirror hides nothing. That mirror is true and is going to show you your reflection, regardless of whether it is wanted or unwanted, liked or unliked. Then stage 2, this leads us into stage 2, where there is the testing stage, where you find that suddenly you're being triggered by this person, where you find that, and in the first stage, which is the stage of activation, there's a lot of magnetism, and this lasts throughout, but it's enjoyed in the first stage. You always want to be together. This person always wants to be around you. You always feel energized. You never want to leave their company. They don't want to leave your company, right? And you like all of this. You can spend hours on the phone and you never run out of conversation. You can spend hours in one another's company and you never run out of conversation. And so it's enjoyable. But in the second stage, which is testing, this which you really, really love getting lost in becomes a challenge for various reasons. Your twin flame, your divine counterpart, begins to challenge the limitations that this obsessive attraction obviously presents. And I think that we all think that having the kind of love where you get lost in someone is the ideal, that we all want that. But in the testing stage, that is challenged. And we begin to realize that there are some limitations. There is something that is unhealthy about this obsession to be sucked in and to be absorbed by this other person and vice versa. That in this world that we've come to experience unconditionally, this presents a lot of conditions. So stage 2 begins to trigger, and test a lot of our ego attachments. And our fears are activated. And the thing that we enjoy getting lost in suddenly becomes frightening, scary, and almost burdensome. So in the second stage, your twin flame begins to test you. They begin to see how far, they test how far they can push you. They push your buttons, all the buttons that you really don't want to have pushed. And so in the second stage, the ego is activated in a very, very deep way, because your ego is designed to protect you. And we have built into our ego so many different ways to protect us, to survive. And so when the hair on the back of our neck stand up, or we feel threatened, or something that we now suddenly value comes under threat, the ego is activated. And that leads to the third stage, which is crisis, where both you and your divine counterpart go into crisis mode, which means your automatic coping mechanisms kick into place, and you start to try and protect yourself from the thing that initially felt good, felt light. That's where manipulation starts to come into play. In crisis mode, we do what we've always done when we feel insecure and out of control. We try to manipulate the situation. We try to make the person see how valuable we are by the way we behave, or we hold back, or we try to safeguard. Whatever your natural tendencies are for self-preservation, that's going to kick in. And often those habits, those behaviors, those tendencies that we have developed to protect ourselves from what we perceive to be harmful, those are not the habits and the behaviors we want to carry forth into a healthy state, a healthy relationship, and a healthy environment. And so this is often where you begin to see toxic traits being displayed. The ego is fully activated. And with the sacred meeting of the soul, when the ego is activated, there is an automatic separation that takes place. Because in activating our ego, there is a lack of faith in our heart, heart chakra, in our soul, understanding that I am safe, that I can be loved, that I don't have to allow my fears or somebody else's behavior to dictate how I feel about them or how I respond. There is a separation from that wisdom into ego. And in ego, there is no faith. When you are active in your ego, there is no faith. There is fear, there is insecurity. It's all lower vibrational energies, and then the only way you can try and grasp control is through manipulation, which means you are not trusting in your guidance system, in your heart, in your soul's wisdom. There is a separation from self that takes place. That our soul, the universe, wants to display in a very dramatic way, so that we can see how painful it is and how it just doesn't serve. It's counterproductive. And so it displays the separation from self through what is physically manifested between you and your divine counterpart. Okay, so you guys must ask me questions if what I'm saying is not clear to you. If it resonates, please comment, let me know how. Let me know when as the penny drops, just comment for me, let me know how. I love to hear from you guys, and I love to know that it resonates or that it doesn't, so that I can just clarify. maybe do another video. I just want to know that the information that I'm sharing with you, that it resonates and it serves you and helps you to understand why you find yourself struggling with or getting stuck, because often it is just because we misunderstand what is happening. It is uncomfortable, and when it's uncomfortable, it just doesn't seem right. But sometimes it is exactly what our soul has called for, so that we can expand, evolve, and give space to greater levels of consciousness. So from crisis, the stage that is known as crisis, we move into the runner-chaser dynamic. And as I've said in the previous episode, your paradigm is going to dictate how you see what is happening, how you perceive the experience. Okay, and that is, so your paradigm comes into effect in the third stage, which is known as crisis. In the runner-chaser dynamic, that is where the law of attraction comes into place. You don't attract what you give, you attract what you are. And if you separate from yourself because you've activated fear and insecurity, and so you separate from your true self and you give space, you hand over to the ego, which is not your true self. It is a persona that you have developed to protect yourself and to survive and to hopefully succeed in this life. But from the soul's perspective, from the true self's perspective, all that is already done. You don't need to be protected. There is nothing you need to be afraid of. Success is done. It is yours. It is your birthright. So there is a separation from self that takes place, and therefore it manifests as the runner-chaser dynamic. Your divine counterpart, your divine masculine, is symbolic of your inner masculine, which often portrays itself as the ego self, as the I. Oh, this I'm so and so, I'm so, all the things, like when you introduce yourself to someone, you say, oh, this is my name, this is what I do, this is what I'm about. It's all about your personality. The self, there are no words to describe the self. Self is represented by the feminine side, which is a state of being. So you feel who she is, you experience who she is through her actions and the energy that she brings. But it's not associated with the material things. So the separation that takes place between I and self, which is within ourselves, is physically manifests as the divine feminine and divine masculine, also physically manifests as the soul self and the ego self. Okay. But the misconception is that in the dynamic between you and your divine counterpart, you are the feminine, so you are the light and the good, and you are always right, and they are the masculine, so they're bad, and they just need to come over to your side and then they'll be happy. No, they're symbolic. They're acting out a part of you. You are both. It's like yin and yang, the light and the dark. The light fish and the dark fish, they swim together. They coexist. But do they coexist in harmony? And if you and your divine counterpart are not in harmony, then they don't. Then that's what you are being guided towards: healing, facilitating in your spiritual awakening. Okay? The next stage is surrender. Once you've the runner-chaser dynamic can last a really, really long time for some. But if you are a twin flame, sometimes we think we're twin flames. Some people identify as twin flames when they're not. you do not stay stuck in the runner-chaser dynamic for 10, 20 years. And this I can go into greater detail with for your understanding, but it's going to take too much time here. I want to try and simplify it. You know where you think that the runner-chaser dynamic is, runner-chaser means I'm chasing after them, they're running away from me towards somebody else. The runner-chaser dynamic can shift between you and your person. You can sometimes be the runner, sometimes be the chaser. But it's got nothing to do with what's happening physically. It's got everything to do with the pain, the agony, and the obsession that you have over what they are doing, what they are not doing, why they don't care about you, why they don't appreciate you. So it's not necessarily that as twin flames you must always come together and get married and live happily ever after. Most times it's not, because you're highly evolved souls. As a soul, the most important thing to you is not to have somebody say, I'm going to commit my life to you and I'm devoted to you, and to have their world revolve around you. Your soul is evolved. That's just so petty in comparison to what your soul really values. It's something bigger. So for some, it's about, union is not about being in one another's lives physically attached at their hip and doing everything together. Union is about finding harmony with my soul, and therefore harmony with my divine counterpart, regardless of the conditions. Okay? And often once you've gotten to the stage of surrender, which helps you to support union. When you come to the stage of surrender, that is where you accept that everything is actually good the way that they are. It doesn't have to look a particular way for it to be right. That you do not need for this person to be any type of way for you to be fulfilled, for you to be happy, for you to be whole. That this person is the love that is you. That the love and the support and the guidance that is offered to you that exists for you, not even offered, that is yours on a day-to-day basis, is your twin flame. And then you begin to shift your focus from the conditions to what is, and you give space to that. You find yourself in a place of surrender and acceptance. If they're happy, I'm happy, and it doesn't have to be with me. That leads you to the next stage, which is radiance, where suddenly your life begins to flourish. You attract great abundance. You attract a lot of love and kindness into your experience, but because you are that unconditional love and kindness. And there is a radiance in how you, when you think of your twin flame and you think of how the awakening has served you, you radiate value and quality and love, unconditional love, agape love. And that leads to the next stage, which is harmonizing. You have come into a state of harmony with your soul. So therefore, you have come into a state of harmony with all things. And wherever you and your twin flame might find yourself, then that is harmony for you. Seeing them happy is your happiness. Knowing that you are happy automatically helps you know that they're happy, because you're one soul, regardless of the conditions, whether they're with you or not. This is what brings you, this is union. And at this stage, if it is your contract to be together in the 3D, you will come together. But most, depending on how old you are as a soul, depending on where you are in your journey, most twin flames, it is not your choice to spend the rest of your life with another version of yourself. I just want to be honest with you about that, because So many twin flame coaches advocate that because they know that's the one thing you want. We've all been there. When we went through the initial stages of activation, testing, crisis, and then there's the runner-chaser dynamic, I thought all that I want is to have my twin flame. Nothing else is going to do. Surely that is the only thing that is right in this world. And so my pursuit for that began. My pursuit for that led me to greater wisdom, to deeper levels of consciousness and awareness on this journey. So it's not something that you want to hear, and so it's not something that coaches tell you, because there automatically will be so much resistance against it because of the ego. It's the truth though. Only you can give space to your contract. Only you can give space to what it is you really want. There are so many twin flame coaches, couples that work together that say they call themselves twin flames, and they can do that. You get to decide what, who, and how you are. You get to call it what you like. From a vibrational, energetic perspective, and what Spirit has shown me is that souls can evolve beyond a soul can evolve beyond the need to meet with self and contract to meet a soulmate who has a stream of their consciousness flowing through them, because our consciousness can be in different bodies. That's why we're soulmates. We have bits of our consciousness flowing in other bodies, because we're connected to one source. We're not really separate. We like to see separation. That's how our ego works, and because this 3D reality is based on separation, right? But the truth is there is no separation. So we can meet an aspect of ourselves through a soulmate and live happily ever after and work together, because we've evolved through so many lifetimes and we have so much to offer. For some, they are not yet here. They don't choose to come into this life for this level of awakening, and that's okay. It doesn't make you better than somebody who is here, whose personal mission is to be content. We are where we are, and we contribute to the evolution wherever we are. But it is important for you to understand what your soul desire is, what your core desire is, and what your purpose is. And it's in some sense we share a common purpose, because when we look at the vibrational scale according to emotions, once you move up the scale, every emotion is love. Every positive high vibrational emotion is love in its essence. Happiness is love. Happiness is appreciation. Appreciation is love. Joy is appreciation. Joy is happiness. Joy is love. You see? So it all comes together. We sort of have similar purpose. But there is also a level of individuality. And it'll serve you to know and to understand what that is for you. And to embrace your twin flame activation, to give space to deeper and higher levels of love, so that you can let in everything that your twin flame has come to show you deserve and you want, and to release everything that your twin flame has come to show you is holding you apart from that. Surrender. In the stage of surrender, just one more thing, that is stage 5. This is where the runner realizes that they are the chaser. And to have a better understanding of what I mean by that, you can go back and watch episode 2, because I go into detail about that. Often the person who thinks they're running, after they're pursuing the union, is the person that is, often the person who thinks they're pursuing the union is actually running from the union. And it's got to do with energy and the laws of our universe, the law of attraction. So you can go and check out episode 2 if that's something you want to hear more on or more about. But just a few points in closing. Separation consciousness is what has contributed to a lot of our, it's what contributes to our illness, to our suffering, and to the chaos of our universe. So twin flames have come into this time-space reality to help to elevate and to tune into unconditional love, so that we fill in those light grids for the rest of humanity. Unconditional love, which means our happiness and our unhappiness is not based on the conditions of our reality. That's when we are in true power. So we've come to, through our Twin Flame Awakening, to transform, to shed a light on separation consciousness, and to bring into this world the awareness that there is no separation, that we are all connected. Fear is the absence of God. So when you find yourself in a state of fear, this is often where we go into crisis mode. That is stage 3. When you find that your fear is activated, and now we're in active fear, and we're choosing our words and our actions according to that fear, because we don't want to lose something, we don't want pain. It is very, very painful. We don't want to lose ourselves. We feel we're going crazy. We can't eat, we can't sleep. You want to remember that faith and fear, they are on 2 separate ends of the spectrum. Fear and faith, 2 different frequencies, 2 different vibrations. Faith is the vibration of love and appreciation. That is alignment with source, with your true self, with God. Fear is lack thereof. That is a vibrational match to the opposite, to what you consider to be shortage, darkness, negative, evil. You want to keep in mind that your Twin Flame Awakening is a paradigm shift, and you want to accept it, embrace it, and you want to welcome, support, guidance, lessons, learn how to shift your paradigm. The Twin Flame Awakening demands a system upgrade. So for those of you who think that you've been in a Twin Flame connection for 15 years, but you are still right at the beginning where you're feeling obsessed, fear, angry, runner chaser, maybe it is not a Twin Flame connection. And you might want to get a reading just to get clarity, because you could be perceiving a cycle, a blockage, a self-imposed bondage in your life as something valuable and precious, and it keeps you stuck there when it's not actually that. Through your Twin Flame Awakening, illusion is replaced by conscious awakening. There is a lot of illusion of how this is supposed to look, of who you are, how you see yourself. Because the reality is that if you were, in fact, as right and as good and as favorable and as honorable to self as you would like to believe you are, then what you should be experiencing from the world, from relationships outside of you, should be right, good, honorable. Your twin flame comes to show you your true self, your shadow self that is holding you apart from what you deserve. And you don't have to be bound there. But as long as you see yourself as it's me and them, I am the good one. He or she is the bad one. He or she is the one that keeps hurting me. It's me, it's him, it's me, it's him, it's us, it's them. You're stuck in separation consciousness. That is not your soul self. Your soul self knows and understands that we are all one. That you are experiencing yourself. That we are love, and you cannot love from separation. I hope you enjoyed this talk. As I said, comment when you have nuggets that feel like, when you have moments of yes, or aha, or oh, comment with I see, and let me know which part of it resonates with you, as just gone on for you like a light bulb. Do take a look at the first 2 episodes as well. I think that it really helps with an all-round understanding of what it is that I'm wanting to share with you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Love and light. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.